Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Krishnadian way of cooking. So as you see, I'm going to share with you today a recipe of pizza, but this is Ekadashi pizza. And the base of it is made from cauliflower. I made two kinds of pizzas. One was a regular cauliflower base and the other one was with the same base but having an extra cheese burst flavor to it. One I made on the pan and another one in the oven. So let's go ahead with the recipe. In a pot of boiling water, add a medium size of cauliflower, its florets in it, and just boil by covering it with a lid for only 2 minutes. Now if you want to make a little thicker cauliflower base pizza, where I have made a thinner base, then you can use a big cauliflower, like a large one. So after covering it for 2 minutes, I discarded the water and I kept this cauliflower in a big bowl so that it cools down completely at room temperature. Now by this time, I also boiled 2 medium-sized potatoes. Now if you do not want to use potatoes, then you can even use some other flour like buckwheat flour or little bit of amaranth, akka rajgira flour. Since the cauliflower is cooling down, we'll make the sauce. So here I have taken around half cup of tomato paste. The link of the tomato paste I will be putting in the description. If you do not have tomato paste, then you can use tomato puree or crushed tomatoes. Check on the top right corner, there is a link provided for the tomato puree recipe, if in case you haven't checked it. So now after adding this tomato paste, I'm going to add around 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Then I have here few basil leaves. Taken nearly 8 to 10 basil leaves. This adds an extra flavor of the pizza sauce to it. This is usually used in Italian pizza making. It's a very famous herb. Then I added salt as per taste. Now I blended everything into a smooth paste. Now here if you want your pizza sauce little bit thinner, then you can add a little bit of olive oil or you can even add some water. But I wanted this sauce to be a little bit thicker just because the base is not made of the regular dough. Now this is the paste we got. I will empty it in a bowl and keep aside. The cauliflowers are completely cooled down. I will add it in a food processor and pulse it. So this is the kind of crumbled texture we need of the cauliflower. Now this much quantity I have got from the medium size cauliflower florets. So if you're first time making it, then it will be good if you use a bigger size cauliflower. Sometimes you can also use cheese in this to bind the entire thing. Buckwheat flour, amaranth flour is another option, as I mentioned before. This proves excellent for those people who are gluten intolerant or are celiac patient. They can actually go very well with this particular base. So now you have the potatoes and I'll be peeling it and then adding it, mashing the potatoes well. In the future I'll be sharing with you more Ekadashi base pizzas which I have made before on Ekadashi. Now here I've added around 2 teaspoons of mixed Italian herbs. They are nothing but just dry basil leaves, some oregano and dry dill. So you just have to add that, mix it, add a little bit of salt. I have added around 1 tablespoon because it has potatoes and cauliflower both. So in this particular quantity, you can make a decent 12 inches thicker crust pizza. And if you want a thin crust pizza, then 14-inch is good. Now this is a cast iron pan. This is best for what I'm going to make with the second kind of pizza. So I have greased this with a little bit of olive oil. Now taking a little bit of the mixture, I started patting and spreading the mixture on the pan in this manner. Make sure this is a little bit thicker crust. Believe me, the end result of it may not look that appetizing, but the flavor of it is the best. So after placing this nicely on the pan, I'm going to reduce the heat to low. Now you have to cook this entire thing on low heat. So the idea is that cooking the base until it is nice and golden brown, and then we'll be doing something else to it. So you see how I'm spreading it with the help of a spatula. A spatula helps to even out the surface. Now this is the other pizza which we'll be baking in the oven. I placed a parchment sheet first, and then I have put the mixture on top of it. I just don't want to take any risk because this is not a regular dough pizza. So this will help. I've kept the heat of the oven on 400 Fahrenheit. And this is how I have spreaded it. I'll put this tray in the oven on the middle rack, keeping the heat on 375 Fahrenheit and cooking it until the base or the corners of it starts turning brownish. That's when we know that the base of it has cooked. Now here I'm cutting all the veggies. There's tomatoes I'm using, and then I will be using some bell peppers, some olives and pineapple. Make sure that all the veggies are small bit sizes. This will be helpful because the base which I'm making is thin crust. Now all my veggies are cut. So now here, if you see, the sides of it, of the one on the pan, looks cooked. So that's when you will know, because they will start turning brownish golden. If you see, a border lining has been created here. So now I'm going to brush some olive oil on top of it, just because it is cauliflower and potatoes and it tends to get dry and it may start cracking up. After doing this, I will start grating mozzarella cheese. Now once this cheese melts, then I will start dividing it. So divide it into, first into a half like this, and then into another half between them. And then start flipping all of them. Very carefully you have to do it because this is still very fragile. It can break because it is very, very soft. So like that you have to flip, and don't worry about the shape, it will all get back together because it has cheese. So let it cook on low heat. Just you have to make sure that everything is on very, very low heat. So now this is taken care of, I'll look at my pizza base in the oven. Now this pizza base took me around 30 minutes to cook completely. Don't worry about the sides if it has got brown. The base of it is proper, only the sides have got a little bit browner. So start adding the sauce to it. The sauce will be absorbed easily by the potatoes and the cauliflower, so be generous about the sauce. Now grate a little bit of cheese. Now after that, start adding the toppings one by one. I like my pizza always colorful. That is why bell peppers, tomatoes, nice pineapple chunks. Canada's specialty is using pineapples in the pizza. Since the time I started making pizza, I have always added pineapple and I'm used to it. Without pineapple, the pizza just doesn't taste right for me or anyone I know. So here I've added some olives. Now after that, I'm going to also add some chili flakes on top. This is optional if you do not want to add it. Now in the end, grate some cheese on top of it. Then again keep it in the oven on 375 Fahrenheit for around 5 to 7 minutes until the entire cheese melts. After the cheese melts, then on the top you can just start the broiling and for 30 seconds so that the cheese gets a little bit brownish. Now as you see this, the cheese got all together. So now I'm going to flip it. This is how it formed. This is all on low heat. I'm going to spread some sauce on this and again repeat the same process by adding the remaining toppings. I saved some toppings for this cheese burst pizza. Now the big pizza is ready. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. Letting it cool down a little bit is better because it is a gluten-free pizza. So I will start slicing it. Make equal divisions. Start placing on a plate. Do you see how thin the crust is? So that is why I'm saying that if you want a little thicker crust, that is fine too. So here is the other pizza which is ready. This is full of cheese. It has cheese at the bottom, cheese at the center, cheese inside. It's like a complete cheese burst pizza. So I'm going to place a tulsi leaf and offer it at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So I hope you liked watching this video. Please let me know in the comments below how this pizza recipe was. And if you have any questions or queries, please feel free to ask it in the comment section. I will also come up with more Ekadashi pizza based recipes. And don't forget to click the subscribe button if you are new to the channel and like and share. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.